Hi, welcome. Thanks for watching this video. I want to introduce the TextTable tool. This tool is designed to handle and analyze plain text files. It's specially focused on fixed column length, interface descriptions, maybe separated descriptions will follow. I want to start with the tool to give an overview about the basic concept. There are three main areas. The text file area, you can place the input file to, the table description area where you can describe the interface structure, and the table area where you can work with the data in the file. So let's give a very simple example. I write 3 A's and 4 B's, so we have a file with 2 columns. The first column spans over 3 characters, the second one over 4 characters, and I will copy and paste to populate the file here a little bit. Then I will give a description. You have to start with the keyword plain, saying this is a plain text file, and you have to give an ID of the interface file. Let's call it test here, and then between begin and end you can place the columns of your file. So start with column 1, we say that's length 3, and column 2 with length 4. And yeah, I forgot the comma. You have to separate the columns by comma. Now that's a change to the previous version. There's another video. I have to put some subtitle that has been changed. Now the columns must be separated by comma. Once we have done so, we have the file, we have the interface description, we can go onto the table tab and say processing from text to table, and we get the content from the text file, applying the structure description as a data table. On the data table we can apply modifications. We can say that's not AAA, it's CCC here. Go back to the text table, say processing from table to text, and we got also the text changed. For a very simple example, this is how the tool works. So we have the text file, giving the description, applying the description to the text file, get the content, we can work on the content, and then we can render it back to the text file. But now we want to continue with a more sophisticated example. I provided some sample data here containing customer information. This is what the fixed column length interface file normally looks like. You have all the columns within determined character positions. I have an according file specification here, and we have the tool. The thing we need to do at first is open the sample data file. That's customer data here. We can here provide an encoding where we want to open, which we want to apply during open the file. Now we have the file imported. The thing we need to do at next is provide the table description. The test one is no longer appropriate here. Give another ID, it's customer data. Currently it doesn't matter which ID you choose here. Don't get confused with the ID. Just pick one you want to have here. And then we need to provide the column information. We can make our life really easy here because the tool supports the syntax saying we have column, the column name, and give the column ID, and then we can say from which character position to which character position the column spans, and we can create a very simple Excel formula to do that. We say column name from, giving the from position to, give the to position, and add the comma, and then just fill it at the end of the interface description. And then we can copy the syntax fragments to the tool, remove the last comma, and then we are finished. And then again go onto the table tab and say processing from text to table, and then we have the content from the file as table in the table view. So this is what we do normally when we get the new interface file. Of course, if we reuse it, it's also possible to go back to the table description and open an existing interface file description also. I had prepared it for the sample data, of course, and then it's get open. Yes, and we can again process from text to table, apply it, and then we are finished, and you don't have to create the table description all the time. You import a text file content. So next, what we want to do with the data is at first maybe want to analyze. What we did in the very first example was to modify the data directly in the table. This is maybe suitable if you have only a few changes, but normally we have very big files, and to handle this big files there's a feature called query language in the tool. We can place some SQL-like statements here. We can say, for example, select star where, let's say, first name equals Thomas. Thomas. To get all the customers with the first name Thomas, go to processing, say execute query language, and then we get all the customers with the first name Thomas, just to analyze it. And we can also provide more sophisticated where clauses here. We can use and or conjunctions here. We can say, and we want to have all Thomases having their email account, maybe let's say at Gmail, and email matches dot star Gmail. As you maybe already expect, matches is nothing else but a regular expression. Go again on processing, execute query language, and there's no Thomas with a Gmail account, because that's not Gmail, it's gmail.com again, and then we have all the Thomases with the Gmail account. Let's go back to the data we had initially. We say only again select star, and then we see all the data we had before. Of course, it's also possible to give here a column list. Say I want to see only system, client, and maybe street. Then you get only the client list, and there's no from clause because it makes no sense. Very obviously, once we have only one single table, to say from which table we want to select, so there's no from clause, and you directly continue with the where clause. And the where clause supports the expressions I already showed. It's either equals or matches, and you can use and or, and you can also put this Boolean expressions into brackets to give a distinct priority. The next statement supported is the update statement, and that's of course more interesting than a select, maybe in some cases. What we can see in the very first place is that the email is not properly formatted. We have here upper and lowercase, and we want to have all the emails only in lowercase. Then we can provide an update statement. We can say update set email equals lowercase. That's a built-in function from the tool. There's a set of built-in functions. They are described in the documentation, by the way. The package you have downloaded contains also a documentation, and you have the table query syntax. There's an HTML file where you have all the statements, and you can go for update statements, update value list, say update value element, string expression concatenated expression, built-in function, and here are the built-in functions possible with the tool. Just by the way, back to the example, we want to say lowercase email, pressing F5, and then we get all the email in lowercase. Maybe there are other flaws in the data we know about, we have to fix it. Maybe we know that all the customers having their email account at Gmail are not from system PRD and client 800. Let's say it's AAA client 200. So then we can also do this using the update statement. Say system equals, we say it's AAA instead of PRD, comma. So you can separate the columns you want to update. We have client 200, And we also need to update logsys. Since logsys is only the concatenation of system and client, we can also do it here. Say system equals, I could simply write AAA 200, but I want to show also how concatenation works in the tool. That's also possible. Oh no, it's not system, it's logsys. Say system and concatenate it with client. So also very similar to what you know from database SQL. And then we have to give a where clause. We say only the customers with email having the host name gmail.com. So let's say email.star gmail.com. Where email? Now we haven't provided an operator here. Matches. Now it's right, say F5, and then we have for all the customers with the email account at Gmail, the system AAA 200, and also the logsys had changed. Now what's more interesting, if we go back to the text file, we can again say, as we did in the very first and simple example, we can also say from table to text, and we got also the text change. And I think this is a very powerful feature, because you can by this mean performing an update statement directly on the text you have. So the last statement we also have here is the delete statement. Maybe we want to now have only the customers in the file which are from gmail.com, so we delete everything which comes from system PRD. We can also say delete where system equals PRD, perform it, and then we have only the data coming from system AAA and client 200 in the file. And again we can go back onto the text file content, say processing from table to text, and then we have only this kind of rows in our text file. So enough for a very fast and quick overview, where there are a lot more features to discuss. I will do that in other videos. You can also have a look on the documentation I showed. There's a syntax description for the structure description and for a table query. It's really powerful. There are more built-in functions. There will be an extra video only with built-in functions. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I will see you again on the other videos. Thank you very much.